Gonna be a lot of hot takes from me here today, mostly because it's like 80 degrees in my house, despite the fact that my AC is on full blast. It is really hot in here right now. Episode 5 of The Acolyte released, and I can honestly say I actually kind of enjoyed the episode because it's the fight scene. I'm genuinely convinced at this point that like 150 of the 180 million was spent on this episode. There are two key aspects of this episode that I actually enjoy. One is the lightsaber fight, which is good. It's not just decent. It's not amazing. It's good. I've seen fan films with better lightsaber choreography, but this is by far and beyond the best we've gotten out of a Star Wars show, which is almost more infuriating since we've had both a Kenobi and an Ahsoka show. This blows their duels completely out of the water. Definitely a flaw in their planning that you have to get through 4 episodes of a dumpster fire to get to a halfway decent lightsaber fight. It's comparable if I was doing a stream of like the paint on my wall drying and then 3 hours in I spliced in a Mike Starwalker film. Would you call that a Star Wars show? I wouldn't. I would say it's a pile of shit and then there's a good fight in it. And that's it. It's a cool scene. The show definitely suffers from cool scene-itis. This is definitely the thing they were building towards. They weren't doing a very good job. It's a cool fight, and then as soon as the fight's over, taken right out of it. But I've delayed long enough. Let's hop into the episode. The scene starts off with Osha in the middle of clearing, which first of all was a terrible idea. It completely cut the tension from the last episode. It should have just gone straight into the lightsaber fight. For some reason, Osha seems to think that her droid is more important than the people who just got blasted away by the Force.
Babe. You're all right.
She doesn't even ask it like a question. She's just like, you're all right. Don't worry about it. It's, what do you need to comfort the droid for? You hear the lightsaber fighting in the distance, which again, it's annoying that they should have just started with the fight instead of doing this scene where it just cut the tension and then had to get us back into it. At this point in time, I'm convinced more people die off screen than actually on screen in the show. We could have seen this fight happen, but they decided to show us Osha instead. They have to obscure this fight with trees because there's a general flaw in the choreography that you have to deal with when dealing with multiple people. That's one of the problems with this fight. Overall, the fight choreography is good. It has a major weakness that most fights have, so I'm not going to be too critical on it, but I will point it out. When you're fighting multiple opponents, there aren't supposed to be any openings in their defense. Otherwise, people just bum rush them and they can't defend. You'll see this in like kung fu movies where people are just doing movement in the background because you can't really have everyone gang up on the person, otherwise the fight would be over. This was achieved in Duel of the Fates because Darth Maul was using a double-bladed lightsaber. He was able to block both Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon at the same time. So this is a flaw that they really couldn't avoid. They do a fairly decent job covering up, but there's still plenty of moments during this fight where you see him have openings that he shouldn't have. Thankfully, now lightsabers actually do kill people when you stab them with them. I guess that wasn't Plo Koon, so we dodged another bullet. It is during this part of the fight where he hits parts of the lightsaber with his helmet and a wristband, and it short-circuits the lightsabers. For those of you who don't know, that metal is called cortosis, that can short-circuit a lightsaber by rerouting the energy through the blade. Definitely a deep cut. I will say it's cool that they included cortosis as a mechanic. This is the first time we've seen cortosis in live-action Star Wars. Unfortunately, and I've noticed this with a lot of review sites, especially people who are just like normies who don't know a lot about Star Wars lore, people thought that was like Beskar or had no idea what was going on. Again, cool that they included the cortosis. Normal people are going to be confused as shit as to why people's lightsabers are turning off. Just because your lightsaber stopped work doesn't mean you have to just stop fighting. You guys can like force push. Hell, throw a rock at him. Do something. They just stand there and look at each other like, guys, help. See right here, you have several flourishes of a blue lightsaber that don't connect to anything. That's just flourishing. First of all, where was that guy during this part where their lightsabers were turned off? That guy just showed up out of nowhere. The fact that this fight is mostly obscured by trees is infuriating, and the fact that they just decided to not show decapitation is irritating. I mean, you didn't have to show decapitation. Remember, you just do one nice little cut across the chest and they die. as seen by Kelnaka. You're fine showing impalement, but decapitation, that's a no-no. So during this entire scene, Mei is just watching from the inside of Kelnaka's house, deciding to not do anything, even when Osha was knocked unconscious and everyone kind of went away for a second, because you saw Osha woke up in the middle of the clearing, which Mei was looking at. So why didn't she, at any point in time, run out and go, "Oh my god, Osha, are you okay?" This would have been a good time to ingratiate yourself to her. But no, she just sat in here and watched the whole time. And then they just show us Kelnaka again, just to annoy the shit out of everyone. Remember how we didn't get to see him fight? Still upset about that. So Mei decides to take Kelnaka's lightsaber with her. I mean, it's a logical decision, which is new for people in the show to actually make. In steps Sol, finally, where he was this entire time. Not sure. There's just a lot of Jedi who just kind of fucked off in the middle of the fight and then came back. I doubt he was repulsed away that far. Especially since in the previous episode, his back was to the house. So he should have been around. They obviously wanted to have him get introduced at this point so it can be like a one-on-one between Sol and him. But the fact that Sol was away in the first place kind of doesn't make sense.
Come on, let's follow him.
Basil serves no purpose in the story at this point. I actually almost completely forgot that they found him. I just thought he was running around on his own. The first time through, I forgot that they saw him.
We have to go back. You're injured.
Fine.
I know a lot of my criticism of the show is people telling people things they already know. This show would jump up like 3 points on my scale if someone just responded to Osha by saying, "Yeah, I fucking know." After that, it cuts back to Sol versus Smilo Ren.
You carry a Jedi weapon, but you are no Jedi.
I don't know, yeah, was it the red color that might have given it away? I can't think that Sol doesn't know what a Sith is. Like, he has to at least have a thought, like, oh, is he a dark Jedi? Is he a Sith? It's really stupid dialogue, like, yeah, that's what the red color means, buddy. And we cut back to Mei again doing fuck all during all of this. She gets attacked by Jeki. What annoyed me during this entire fight sequence, I thought that Jeki lost her lightsaber in the fight, which is not true. She has it on her during this entire altercation. I'm sorry, Jeki, but once the mask-wearing psychopath just starts murdering Jedi left and right, you're past the subduing people with kung fu phase of this operation. You gotta start chopping legs off at this point. Remember last episode when Mei decided she was going to surrender to the Jedi? Yeah, fuck that. We're not doing that anymore. She is full on trying to kill Jedi again. Pull out your fucking lightsaber. See, it's right there. I didn't notice that the first time I was watching, but she has it and doesn't fucking use it. We're past the point in time where you subdue people with kung fu, Jeki. Whip out the lightsaber and chop a fucking arm off. It cuts back to the Sol versus Smilo fight.
Show your face.
And let you read my thoughts. No, no, no.
Huh? Okay, we've established that it's cortosis. Cortosis just doesn't, like, block people from reading your mind. It's not like Magneto's helmet. That's a stupid line. That doesn't make sense. He doesn't need to see your face to read your thoughts. That's not how that works.
What master hides his face from his pupil?
You tell me.
It was a cool line. I will say. I did like that. Yeah, Jeki, you know you could have easily avoided getting stabbed if you just used your goddamn lightsaber.
Jeki.
That could have been a random-ass animal in the woods for all you know.
I need to get you to safety.
Once again, we have Yord with the sensible plan that makes sense. In the middle of the fight, Smilo decides to abandon Sol. Why, when he had the advantage? I'm not quite sure.
What is he, Yord?
I don't know. He doesn't follow the rules of combat, and there's no method to his movements.
Well, yeah, he's trying to kill you. What rules of combat? Hold on, is this a thing? Hold on a second. I actually genuinely have to look this up. Rules of combat. Star Wars. It just sends me to tabletop shit. It just sends me to Star Wars RPG. Here's the rules on how you do combat. What the fuck are you talking about, Yord?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's a Sith. He's a bad guy. They don't play by the rules. Come the fuck on, man. Have you not dealt with like a smuggler before or anything like that? What?
He's into your head, and he stays there.
My mother could do that. Get inside a Jedi's head. I saw it once.
For once, they actually told him information he didn't already know. It's not very helpful, though, because she didn't tell him how to stop it. It's just, yeah, I knew someone who could do that once. This isn't the fucking time, Osha. We need to go. Jackie still is not using a lightsaber. I don't know what it is with Jedi in this show and deciding to not use their primary weapon.
You took Master Kilnaka's saber.
Again, she's a really good actress. We haven't seen it because most of this show has been focused on Osha and May, who have the facial expressions of a plank of wood. But I did like the look on her face where she's like, I can't believe you would take that saber. That was good.
Bad one.
It's kind of weird that he retracted his saber and then opened it right back up. It's almost like he could have kept it open, at least for the shock value. Again, the choreography is really good. The fact that Jecki is using Jar-Kai, like, effectively, it actually looks very reminiscent to the fight from Attack of the Clones where Anakin starts using two sabers. The choreography is good. It's one of the two good things about this episode. Now, at this point in time, I'm kind of concerned that the Padawan is the only one who's been able to actually take on the Sith for a long period of time. In fact, it's the one that he appears to struggle with the most. There went Kanaka's saber. At this point in time when I think that he just decided to take the kid gloves off. Why he was fucking around in the first place, I'm not sure. But she should not have stood a chance against this guy. It's like watching Ahsoka go up against General Grievous. He also just abandons her in the middle of the fight. Dude could have clearly ended it. He decided to go after May instead.
Turn off your saber. The light attracts them.
Attracts what?
At this point in time, I'm actually genuinely surprised that they didn't just stop everything and go, yeah, remember those bugs that we just saw? The light attracts those. Remember the bug that attacked me? I was half expecting her to actually say it for once they actually showed us. The bugs from earlier decided to all wake up from their nap and soar through the trees. It's weird that they went with the whole the light attracts them thing, because why didn't they all wake up when Sol was using his lightsaber? Smilo Ren then catches up to May and then decides to break her handcuffs before trying to kill her. See, right there, we had a moment where Jecki could have attacked and it would have connected. This is a moment where we could have had May do one of two things. Could have helped the Jedi, thrown a knife at him, or something. Or helped him, throwing a knife at the Jedi, or something. But no, she runs from fucking everything. She is not a good character. Why would Jecki save her life at this point in time? You should have just let him stab her. A Jecki of all people should have been, yeah, she's evil. She killed a bunch of people. If they're turning on each other, whatever. The fact that she's the one who saves her is weird. We cut back to Yord and Osha, and Osha receives a force message from her sister. I'm going to assume that's what happened.
Run!
She says to the guy with a fucking leg injury. Remember when that happened to Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones? Dude was out, couldn't walk anymore. Yord should just say, fuck you, I can't run. It's weird that he's been running this long already. This is the first time in the show that Kung Fu makes sense to use, because his lightsaber got knocked out. Now this was a cool addition, because Cortosis is a brittle metal, so it makes sense that her elbowing it a couple times would shatter the helmet. Kind of stupid that you'd make a helmet out of it in the first place. It would have been fine just being your wrist guards. Make your helmet out of something else. Now see, what happened here was she got stabbed 3 times. If you only get stabbed once and you're a girl in Star Wars, you survive. But you get stabbed 3 times, that one actually kills you. It's too bad I didn't really care about Jackie all that much. They probably should have done a better job of actually endearing me to her character. And we get the big reveal. The Sith Lord was Chimere the whole time. Obvious reveal was obvious. Almost every single person thought it was him. We thought for a time that they were actually going to like subvert our expectations and make it be someone else because they made it so obvious that it was him. No, obvious answer was obvious. We all knew it was going to be him. They could have made him a red herring, but they didn't. It was the obvious answer. But Chimere gives the best performance in this entire episode. He blows Soul out of the water. He is a compelling villain. Unlike Reva, unlike Morgan Elspeth, unlike fucking Ahsoka's Thrawn, he is an actual compelling villain.
Jackie.
Was that its name?
She was a child.
You brought her here.
Yeah, why didn't you just leave her at home like Yord left his Padawan? Duh.
Take down. You attacked me while my back is turned?
Yeah, honestly, at this point in time, the whole unarmed thing is kind of... you're fucking evil. The line of logic makes sense for Soul. You are killing people. You need to be stopped.
What are you?
I have no name. But a Jedi like you might call me Sith.
Now, this is the part where I'm going to make a hot take here. This guy's not a Sith. A lot of the people reviewing this will be like, oh, well, this just breaks canon entirely now because we have a guy who literally said he was a Sith. I don't think this guy's a Sith. I think he's a pretender. I'm curious how he bled a lightsaber crystal because that is a Sith technique. If he's a Sith Lord, I'm going to be fucking furious. I think this guy's just a pretender. If they go the route that he is actually one of the Sith, that makes no sense in any form of canon. The entire point of the Rule of Two was so that the Sith would remain hidden. They would never, ever reveal themselves to a Jedi that they are in fact Sith, even if they planned on killing them all. They can't take that risk. Any Darth Bane descended Sith would never tell a Jedi that he was Sith. He would say something else. That's why I'm under the impression this dude is not a Sith. Once again, though, I'm giving the writers of the show credit. They might actually make him an actual Sith.
Why risk discovery?
Well, I did wear a mask.
Still doesn't make any sense why you revealed yourself, though.
I want a pupil, but this one went back on our deal. She exposed me.
In all fairness, you could have just fucking left. She didn't know anything. She didn't know who you were. She didn't know your identity. She didn't know anything. You could have just fucking left her.
So now I have to kill every single last one of you.
That is the only way this protects canon, so I'm okay with that. Now, I remember in the last episode where I said in order to protect canon, every single person here has to die. They're doing a pretty good job so far, and his plan is to kill all of them. So, it's okay. Canon hasn't been broken. Yet. Chimere essentially tells Soul that he can't exist because the Jedi make it so Darksiders can't exist. Cool. Compelling argument. Why we had to wait 5 episodes for it is still irritating to me. So I was genuinely shocked that they actually killed Yord. Kills Yord super easily. I'm actually impressed. They killed both Jackie and Yord, 2 of the main characters. I'm still kind of curious how they're going to finish out the next 3 episodes when they've killed off half the main cast. Man, he died without anyone ever telling him that Luke was the one who blew up the Death Star. You know, your lightsaber still works, Soul. Why would you stop him? For real. Okay, I understand that they were going for the angle of Soul, like, giving into his anger. Why was Osha the one to stop him? She failed Jedi training. She should have just been like, I just watched this guy kill Yord, and I felt him kill Jecki. Why would she be the one to stop him? She wouldn't. She would have been like, good, fucking let him die. Also, the guy just broke Yord's neck. Him being unarmed means fucking nothing. End him, even from a Jedi standpoint. Like, this whole they try to keep the Jedi don't attack unarmed people thing is dumb. Guy just killed Yord with his bare hands. Just snapped his neck. Stop him! Would have been much more compelling if Soul stopped of his own volition, but the fact that Osha stopped him doesn't make any fucking sense. There you go. He's armed. Fucking kill him. So Osha attaches Pip to the back of Chimere so that it can attract the bugs that are nearby. And then after he's carried off, Osha essentially confronts Soul saying, why shouldn't you trust him? Which is again leading to the last mystery of the show is what the Jedi did that was so bad. May ends up stunning him. Apparently stun blasters only last like 30 seconds in this show. For some weird ass reason, instead of having the conversation right then and there, they fuck off to this random mountain in the middle of the woods. Why they waited to have this conversation, I don't. Such a weird choice. And it doesn't make any sense. But either way, after fucking off to this random mountain, Osha and May finally have their back and forth.
Osha. What have you done?
Which is a callback to episode 3. Remember episode 3? Remember the rest of the show that was terrible?
No. You're the violent one. You started that fire. And I would have been dead too if it weren't for the Jedi. They've brainwashed you.
No, I distinctly remember you saying, I'm going to kill you.
They've turned you against me.
Remember good Star Wars?
I love you.
Man, I can't wait for her to flip-flop in like another 30 minutes and then say, I'm gonna kill you. May is such a fun character. And then they get into a little scuffle. May shows why she is clearly the superior Force user because Osha has barely ever used the Force at all in this entire show, despite the fact that they're both supposed to be prodigies. So she pushes her essentially off of a ledge, which knocked her out. So, you know, that movie kind of concussion, the good kind of brain damage that just knocks you out for a long period of time, pulls a random lightsaber. This guy just fucking died in the middle of nowhere. This guy was nowhere near the battle, but somehow died anyway. May decides to give herself an emergency haircut because she, oh masterful strategist that she is, decides she's going to trick Soul into thinking that she's Osha. Cut back to Chimere easily escaping the bugs. What the fuck took him so long? Soul, oh sharp and perceptive Jedi master that he is. Remember that time when he noticed the tattoo from friggin' 12 feet away? Doesn't notice at all that this is May. Unless he does. Unless they're making us think that he doesn't know, even though he does. I don't think they're confident enough to write that. I think he's genuinely deceived by May.
Let's go.
And then he just fucking leaves all of the Jedi in the middle of the woods to just fucking rot. Oh. This entire show has been painting Soul as like the sentimental type. That he has like unhealthy attachment to his Padawans. He just fucking leaves at least Jecki in the middle of the woods. Doesn't build a funeral pyre. Doesn't take them all with him to say, okay, we have to put them, I don't know, put them in Kelnaka's hut so we can come back for them later. Just leaves them in the middle of the woods. What the actual hell? Take them back to the ship. Build a funeral pyre. Do something aside from leaving a bunch of dead Jedi in the woods. What the actual fuck? Zero reverence for even his Padawan. On a note of leaving people in the middle of the woods, the assumption being that May is trying to like trick Soul so she can actually kill him and do Osha a favor. She just left her sister unconscious in the middle of the fucking woods. Mind you, this is in a universe where there's a lot of very dangerous animals. But no, she's doing the right thing. So they make their way back to the ship where Basil is also aboard. And then it cuts back to Chimere in the woods, where he finds Osha unconscious. Does a very weird gesture that It looks like he was trying to do Force Heal, but as we all know, Darksiders can't use Force Heal. It's not a dark side ability. It looks like he's just basically pointing at it. Very bizarre. And that is how the episode ends. So we have May and Osha have swapped places. May is now with Soul. Osha is now with Chimere. Again, the cool part of the episode was the lightsaber fight. Lightsaber fight was cool. The second the lightsaber fight is over, I have lost all interest in this story. Now, so far, canon has not been broken yet. The second that Soul tells anyone what happened is when canon gets broken. So, either there's three ways they can go about this. Either Soul dies before he makes it back to Coruscant, so May succeeds and Soul dies. There's a chance that she could crash the ship or something and kill Soul while they're en route before he sends a message to anyone. Option 2 is that people come to the decision that he is not, in fact, a Sith. He's just a guy who thinks he's a Sith. That's option number 2, which is what I thought they were going to go with originally, is now the Acolyte isn't an actual Sith. Option 3 is that they just tell them there's a Sith and they break canon, which I wouldn't put past them. I think there's good in Leslie Headland. There is a way to end this story in an actually satisfying way. Now hear me out. Leslie Headland has a lot of parallels to Darth Vader. You know, she served in very evil man. She destroyed a lot of people's dreams and ruined a lot of people's lives. But there's still one good act she can do to redeem herself. And that is introduce Darth Tenebris. The way this show should end. Osha and May are... I don't give a fuck about their story. They could both die for all I care. Chimere can easily floor both of them. The only way I feasibly see him getting defeated is if Darth Tenebris shows up and just fucking floors him. Like a real Sith. That's the only way this show could end in a satisfying manner for me. Some people were thinking that Corel, the Zabrak mother from episode 3, is going to make an appearance because we didn't see her actually die. I would hate that with a passion. If she's like the actual master who taught Chimere how to get into people's heads, I'll be really mad if that's the way they go about this. Because there's a thought that they're going to rewrite the Pelagius story to make her Darth Pelagius, which, I would be so fucking mad if that's what happened. No, the way this show should end is that the fake Sith are cut down by the real Sith. That's it. That's how you end this story on a satisfactory note. Darth Tenebris needs to show up and ragdoll this guy. That's essentially how the show should end. Is that what they're going to do? Probably not. That's the only way this show can end on a satisfying note. That's the only way I will be satisfied, is if Darth Tenebris shows up. If they introduce Darth Tenebris and Darth Pelagius using this show and just fucking end Chimere, I will give this show a positive rating. I will actually positively review the show and say it ended well. The fact that they wasted 4 episodes on stupid shit is the irritating part, because they've already lost a majority of their audience in the first 3 episodes. The people got turned off very early in the show. So only people who are either diehard Disney stans or reviewers like me are actually watching the show to completion, which is not a good strategy. It's not an effective strategy. The show was made in one bulk sitting because they knew they had the budget, as opposed to like a normal TV show that has a pilot that's supposed to hook you in the beginning so that it can keep going. Disney doesn't have to do that. They don't have to put effort into the beginning of the show. They can just make it end properly, which is just not good business strategy. I don't know. I'm hoping it ends the way I want it to end. But then again, I've been hoping for a long time that Star Wars does something good. So we'll see what happens. Did you guys enjoy that? Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And we'll see you all for episode 6. Probably going to be another flashback episode. I'm willing to bet it's going to be a flashback episode. Thank you all. We'll see you all next time.